confidence into it for sure.
It's the old woulda, coulda, right?
Yes, exactly.
Can you use your intuition to make your life a little more palatable?
Absolutely. I feel that, the more aware we all become, and, we're in a great shift right now. I've seen in my work, as we're coming into a new world, in a way, more and more people are feeling, they're sensing, they're becoming more sensitive. So a lot of times traumatic events or big, life shifts, being a medium, I also see that sometimes when people experience a great loss of a loved one, their intuition becomes a bit more sensitive or a bit more open. So we always have opportunities to deepen that connection. It's a lifelong practice. It's never perfect. But it really is something that can create, I like how you said palatable, it can make your life just a little bit more at ease, and sometimes I have a different comfort in knowing that I feel more connected and have made some really, sometimes, decisions in my life that I may not yet know the outcome, even though my intuition is telling me something. And then sometimes you go, okay, I'm going to make this decision because it doesn't feel right, or maybe it feels amazing. And then, 3 months down the road, you go, aha, now I know why.
And I would guess that intuitive people, Lauren, are a little more successful, maybe happier. What do you think?
I would like to agree with that. I think when you're balanced in your intuition and you allow it to live in synchronicity with your life, sometimes the most famous people in the world and the most successful people in the world have a strong intuition and even a strong, spiritual or meditative practice. So it can be very natural for many people to trust that. I think a lot of folks may not even know that when they're trusting their gut, or you might say, oh, that person has a great gut instinct. Really, they have a great intuition, but they may not be using that same vocabulary.
Interesting take. Now, can you develop your intuition, or do you have to really just be born with it?
Well, it's something, as I said too, George, I think we all have it, and to develop it is absolutely possible. And as I know that I've had to kind of become more aware and strengthen my abilities. So for me, I do believe we can all have it naturally, but you can also develop it more, become more conscious of it, and ground it more, because sometimes there can be intuitive folks who maybe are super sensitive. I'm sure some folks out there listening may be, feeling intuitive but sensitive, and to me that's just a sense of not having a strong yet of development and grounding. So your intuition can be developed, it can be enhanced, and it can also be grounded, so you're not overly sensitive but still feeling your way around the world.
Give us an example, Lauren, if you can, on how somebody has used their intuition and it helped them, whether it's you or anybody.
Absolutely. One of the most recent moments in my life, came just before we had this pandemic, and I was telling you a second ago that sometimes we make a decision based on our feelings, not yet knowing the outcome. And in October of 2019, I do sacred journeys. I bring groups of people to wonderful sites in the world, and I had a journey planned for a group to go to India in the beginning of March of 2020. And in October of 2019, I could feel for a good 2 weeks like something's not right. This journey doesn't feel right. I also had a journey planned for Egypt in February of 2020, and I kept checking in like, well, that feels fine, but this one doesn't feel right. So I canceled this journey. For some reason, my body was just, don't do this. And the minute I canceled the journey without understanding, I felt an instant relief. I'm like, okay, something is shifting here. And then lo and behold, a few months later, we were at the beginning of locking down our country at that time. So I had this weird foresight to let go of this journey, not understanding why, and it saved me a lot of challenges and, maybe canceling a journey at the last minute with people perhaps going to India with me at the middle of an outbreak. So, there's a good example of learning to trust what you feel, and that our intuition can speak very loudly to us when something is just not right. I think it's so important to sit with that and listen to why your body may not understand what's going on. And to just add a little bit to that, George, I've seen so much in my work last year with clients about people making weird decisions to change a job or to move at the beginning of 2020, right before the pandemic had started. So many people knew that something was shifting, even though we possibly couldn't fathom what that really was going to look like.
Let's talk about spiritual navigation. What is that?
Yes, I'm a big person about spiritual navigation, and what really that is for me is, there's so much out there in the world of spiritual development. Lots of different people teaching many different things, from psychic development, mediumship, healing work, channeling. And I always say you need to have a healthy mind about this world that we live in. I would love to say that many of the mediums that we have out there are authentic and real, and sometimes there are folks who are not. And sometimes we have teachers who maybe don't have the best interest at heart. So spiritual navigation to me is learning to be in control of your spiritual world and your development, learning to trust what feels right, who to learn from, who feels authentic to you, and also being willing to recognize that sometimes you may be in a situation that doesn't feel right or healthy spiritually. So spiritual navigation is about, taking that time to really have a discerning eye to the world of spiritual development and self-help, and make sure that what you're learning and the people that you're studying from are authentic, they're real, and they have your best interest at heart, and that you learn to trust yourself in that way.
Now, by doing this, though, what does that do for you personally?
In terms of having a healthy spiritual navigation,
yes.
It gives you a sense, because I believe that we should learn as much as we can. I've studied many different faiths and religions, and I've learned from so many, not just mediums, but so many spiritual teachers, and I feel blessed to have worked with shamans around the world. So having healthy navigation just helps you know that your development is honoring who you are, and that you're not sitting with people who may be creating limitation around you. And to me, it just helps us develop and allows us to be open and trusting our intuition and trusting the people who are guiding us. Is so key to having a healthy relationship with your intuitive self and also with the spiritual world and development. So for me, I've had unfortunate circumstances in my early years where maybe I was a little naive and overly excited about developing, that I may have put myself around teachers who didn't have my best interest at heart. And I feel grateful that I was able to feel through this and go, something doesn't feel right here, and to step away from what may have been more harmful situations for my development that could have led me down some wrong roads or misguided me and put me down and connected with people who were better, more supportive, and more authentic.
And with this kind of spirituality, I mean, what can it enhance you to do? Because sometimes people overdo it, don't they?
Absolutely, I have myself. I always say my first 4 years were like going through college. I was definitely blessed with a lot of opportunity. And, part of spiritual navigation, George, I think is so key, is that you take pieces a little bit at a time. And that I'm always one who says, as a teacher, not everything I say is going to resonate with you. So I always give, for example, my students permission to not receive something that doesn't feel right to them. That everything that we're learning spiritually is also in many cases based on a theory. And while, especially in the mediumship side, we work to bring in evidential information, some of the work that's out there isn't necessarily evidence-based. So you really have to, again, trust what you're feeling, have that healthy sense of what's going on, and not being afraid to maybe not receive something that doesn't resonate with you. In spiritual terms or in intuitive terms, we're all as beautifully unique as your fingerprint in a way that we receive and connect with information. And so as you go down the world of learning more about who you are spiritually, it's so important that you're the one who defines that, and that nobody really, in the ultimate end, defines who you are.
Lauren, when we come back at the bottom of the hour, let's talk about some sacred sites and then mediumship, and then how we can get back into this mode as well. We will be back in a moment on Coast to Coast AM.
Sign up now for Coast Zone, our free email newsletter. Get it today at coasttocoastam.com.
From the KFI 24-hour newsroom. A vandal who's accused of targeting Jewish establishments is under arrest. Cops believe he's responsible for 13 separate vandalism crimes in West LA, including at a synagogue and a kosher restaurant. The reward for information leading to the arrest and conviction of the 55 freeway road rage killer has grown to $500,000. Cops still have no leads in the death of 6-year-old Aiden Leos. With the demand for vaccines dramatically decreasing, LA County is finally cutting the cord on its vaccine mega sites. Cal State Northridge location closes on Monday. The other 3 sites, June 13th. The Lakers are done. They were ousted from the NBA playoffs last night at Staples Center by Phoenix. Southland weather from KFI. Morning, low clouds and fog. Lingering most of the day at the coast. Otherwise sunny afternoons today and through the weekend. Highs from the mid-60s at the beaches. Mid to upper 70s. Metro LA and OC. Mid-80s in the valleys and the IE. Right now it's 60 in Fountain Valley. Capistrano 60. Beverly Hills 63. And in Simi Valley 59 degrees. We lead local from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. I'm Phil Hewlett.
It's a big problem in the West Athens area heading out of South LA this morning, westbound side of the 105 in Vermont. Police activity has all lanes shut down. Your ride's stacking up solidly all the way back to Central. They've shut down the 110 South connector to the westbound 105 as well. Long Beach on the northbound 710 before Long Beach Boulevard cleanup after a multi-car crash. Crews have all lanes closed, taking all traffic off there at Del Amo Boulevard. Look for a bunch up if you're coming off of the 405. KFI in the sky helps get you there faster. I'm Ryan Duggan.
Contractor license 247-781.
In a desert climate like this one, air conditioners last only about 11 years.
That's still a long time if you compare it to the life of a computer or the average car.
The way to make your car last longer is to change the oil.
How do you make air conditioners last longer?
Get an annual rejuvenation from Gettle.
If you've got one of the old ACs that use Freon, you're going to need to replace that because it's illegal to manufacture or import Freon to the U.S. these days.
You know what I'm going to do for just $129?
What?
I'm going to send America's best AC tech to make 6 critical adjustments to bring that air conditioner back to factory specs.
We going to clean those outside coils while we're there?
You bet. And we're going to clean them the right way, not the easy way.
Best $129 you'll ever spend.
A Gettle rejuvenation makes your system cool better and faster so that your home uses less energy and has fewer breakdowns.
Gettle. It rhymes with kettle, except it starts with a G and it's spelled really weird.
Gettle. G-O-E-T-T-L.
We'll keep you cool, but it's hard to spell.
Want to sell your valuable coins, high-end jewelry, collectibles, or fine art for more? Here's someone who will tell you why you should call Tangible Investments.
Hi, my name is Allie Eastburn, and I'm the founder of With This Ring.
With This Ring is Allie's charity.
About 11 years ago, I realized that the ring on my finger could literally save an entire village in Africa. So I donated that ring, and now we have rings coming in to our organization from women and men all over the world.
So who buys Allie's donated rings?
Tangible Investments. Our ring donors send our rings directly to Tangible Investments, and they give us more money for those rings than anyone else ever has.
With Sill's help, Allie is changing the world.
It helps us do what we do best, which is drilling clean water wells in Liberia, Africa.
Tangible Investments owner Syl D. Genova has become America's top dealer in coins, precious metals, jewelry, and fine art. Syl guarantees you'll get more.
Thanks so much, Syl and Tangible Investments, for all you've done for us.
Call now for a no-obligation free professional appraisal. 800-711-2800. 800-711-2800. 800-711-2800.
I've let myself go a little bit. How much for a wax? Well, I'm about the earlobes down. Hello? Hello?
And now the top 5 reasons to visit Kurūgā. Number 5.
Modern Dad 2.0 giveaway. Get an HDTV wireless headphone kit when you earn 500 points on your rewards card, June 7th or 8th.
Number 4.
The Lazy River
free.
Real winner giveaway. You can win up to $100 cash playing slots with your rewards card. Wednesdays and Thursdays, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Number 2.
Celebrate Dad at Cielo. Reservations for Father's Day are going fast. Don't miss out.
And the number 1 reason.
Watching your team is more fun while getting your game on, too. Morongo's got big screens everywhere you eat, stay, and play.
Morongo Casino Resort and Spa. Morongo. Good times.
Getting families vaccinated against COVID-19 is an important step to bringing back joy for all of us. That's within reach now that the Pfizer vaccine is proven safe and effective for those 12 and older. This is the same vaccine millions of Californians have already gotten. California is even adding new vaccine clinics specifically for young people. Together, we can end the pandemic. Visit vaccinateall58.com or call 833-422-4255 to learn more.
Now, another iHeartRadio COVID-19 vaccine update.
U.S. top doc Anthony Fauci says businesses, schools, and summer camps will be getting more guidance on mask wearing soon.
Over the next few weeks, you're going to see more and more explicit, granular description of what can and cannot be done.
Fauci predicts the U.S. could approach the end of the coronavirus pandemic in the next month or so, saying it will happen after at least 70% of adults have received one or more vaccine doses.
Get the latest vaccine info now at cdc.gov/coronavirus.
KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk.
This person, guess what? We've got you covered too. Maybe you need someone a little bit more mature. Go to paranormaldate.com/seniors. There you'll find folks that are 60 plus and they think like you do. Paranormaldate.com/seniors.
At paranormaldate.com, you meet the most fantastic people.
Hi, I'm Tom.
Hi, I'm Jennifer. What brings you here?
Yeah, I'm here to meet someone who understands me.
How so?
Well, I'm into UFOs, ghosts, aliens, Bigfoot, conspiracy theories, the paranormal, that kind of stuff. But can't seem to find anyone who gets it.
Oh, well, nice to meet you, Tom. I gotta go.
Okay. Guess that's not your cup of tea. You sure?
Very. Good luck with that.
I can't meet anyone when I'm out, and I really can't find a website for my unique interests. What does one do?
Have you thought about paranormaldate.com?
What? Who are you?
I'm a paranormal matchmaker, and it's paranormaldate.com. It's a website for people looking for people like them. Stuff you like, remember?
Interesting. I'll give it a try.
Well, let's try this again.
Hi, I'm Tom.
Hey, I'm Deb. Your profile on paranormaldate.com looks very interesting. So you really saw a UFO?
Well, yeah. It was so intense, but not as intense as meeting you.
You're an alien chasing flirt, but I kind of like it.
Wow, this paranormaldate.com thing really works.
Maybe paranormaldate.com is for you. People with an interest in things they hear on George's show find their match daily. So if you're looking for that special someone with an interest in UFOs, ghosts, aliens, Bigfoot, conspiracy theories, and of course, the paranormal, come to the dating site inspired by George Norrie. It's always free to search, and if you decide to upgrade to our amazing new features, use promo code GEORGE for a great discount. Paranormaldate.com. You are not alone.
Facebook will soon review its ban on former President Trump. What's your opinion? Should Facebook let President Trump back on? Let us know. Vote in Newsmax poll. Just text the word river to 39747. That's 39747. Newsmax TV will share the results. Newsmax TV is the fastest growing cable news channel in America. It's on all the major cable systems, so tune in today. And vote now on the Trump ban. Text river to 39747.
Have you wanted to speak a new language, but thought it would be too difficult? Then try Babbel. Babbel starts by teaching you words and phrases that gradually get more complex. Soon, you're practicing short conversations. So in 15 minutes a day, you'll be speaking a new language in a few weeks. Babbel is built around real life. It teaches you practical conversations that you will actually use. Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free. Just text Babbel to 64,000 and start learning a new language today. That's B-A-B-B-E-L to 64,000. Are you more than $10,000 in debt? Feel like you're on a never-ending treadmill, staying in one place and never getting ahead with those minimum payments? You feel like there's no way out? Don't let the credit card companies bully you anymore. There are programs in place to help you get free of your debt, and you don't have to pay the entire amount you owe. The program at Total Financial Freedom can help you get debt-free in months instead of decades. Get off the debt treadmill and stop the harassment. Get free of credit card debt, signature loans, department store cards, internet loans, and medical bills. Call now at 800-533-6605 for free information. For about 10 years, Total Financial Freedom has helped thousands. They're A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, too. Get off the endless cycle without having to declare bankruptcy. You'll have the right to settle your debt for a mere fraction of what you owe. Call Total Financial now at 800-533-6605. That's 800-533-6605.
And welcome back to Coast. George Norrie with you. Lauren Rainbow with us. Her website is her name, linked up at coasttocoastam.com. She has a book out, too, called The Mediumship Training Deck, 50 Practical Tools for Developing Your Connection to the Other Side. The Art of Journeying Through Sacred Sites. When you talk about sacred sites, Lauren, what do you mean?
And I think you will probably have a lot in common with this. Sacred sites to me are some of the most ancient temples and spiritual sites around the world. Everything from the pyramids of Giza, the Great Sphinx, the Teotihuacan pyramids, sacred sites around Peru and in India. So a lot of those old ancient places that have amazing power sources to them.
So they're physical locations.
Absolutely, yeah. You know, one of the most interesting things for me is when we go back, George, when you were asking me about, you know, being intuitive as a young child, one of the very first things that I was attracted to as a young child was being fascinated by places like Stonehenge and, again, the Great Pyramids. I was a child of the early 80s, so there was a series of books on TV. One of them was called Mystic Places. I remember telling my mom at about 4 years old, going, I need this book. And she lovingly got that for me. And right away, I dove into understanding the energy of some of the most mystical places in the world. So for me, these amazing sacred sites also have amazing senses of power, which is why I believe a lot of our ancient, kind of ascended masters or ancient ancestors built these powerful temples on some of these hot spots in the world to draw us to them so that we can connect with their great energy.
What creates the power and the energy? Where they're located or how they built them?
I think it's a bit of both. You know, I believe that we have, a system of energy in the earth. Most people would refer to that as the ley lines. And as we studied a lot of these ancient sites, they are built on what is known as powerful sources of energy within, this energetic grid line within the earth. And then some of the structures, especially the pyramids, having been there, not necessarily, and I think that we see, a lot of curiosity on the scientific side of this, but on the spiritual side, having been to some of these most amazing places, they definitely resonate with energy. And I particularly feel that the shape of the pyramids were designed in a very specific way to help raise some of that power up from the earth and connect it above and bring that back down. I've also been to some unique places like Nazca, Peru, which, being...
That was Eric von Daniken's big area.
Yes, exactly. And one of my very first, extraterrestrial, I'll say, moments happened at Nazca, Peru when I first went there almost 20 years ago. And I was new to this work. I was still in the early stages of understanding my intuition and my abilities as a medium. And I remember being flying over the lines of Nazca and feeling such a unique, out-of-this-world energy that almost put me, energetically in two places. I would say I was almost bilocated, if you will. So I was somewhat present with the real world in the moment of being in the plane and seeing these lines, but also feeling way out of my body and in a whole other realm. And Peru, for me, having been there a few times now, is definitely one of the most, unique, energetic places in the world.
What does it do to an individual when you go there and you see the pyramids or the Nazca lines? Does it give you some kind of energy boost?
Absolutely. And I would say, we all have different callings, probably to different parts of the world. Growing up, George, and maybe even in your own way, has there ever been a place that you dreamed of going or you don't know why you want to get there? For me, Egypt was my loudest calling as a young child. So part of what attracted me to that older book, that Mystic Places, was the image of the pyramid and the Sphinx. My mother, God bless her, raising a unique child, would say that I was drawing the pyramids before I even knew what they were. I would always sketch 3 pyramids together. And so she kind of thought, this is very strange. And so I remember the very first time I went to Egypt, I felt like I was home. A part of my soul as I was landing in the plane just went, here we are, we're home. So I believe each person, though, has unique callings to different places. So some people may be drawn more to Egypt. Some people may be drawn more to Peru. Easter Island, for some reason, I need to get to at some point. It's on my bucket list. And there's 2 things I believe that happen here when I say travel in a sacred way. So on the journeys that I do, we gather groups of people who are looking for an enlightened experience. Egypt is one of my more popular journeys where we bring people to the pyramids, again, the Sphinx, a lot of the temples to the different deities, and they can open us up and awaken us in ways that maybe we remember parts of who we were. I know the first time I went to Egypt was in 2010, and I came back and my life had transformed so much that I was able to become a solo spiritual entrepreneur and really boost myself out in this work. I've had some people feel drawn to England and many of the places there like Stonehenge and Tintagel. So to me, we can be opened and awakened uniquely in these places. I've seen and supported many people through powerful shifts where maybe they're having a life awakening moment. I had one in Teo that really transformed me in terms of letting go of old thought patterns and stepping into a new way of thinking. And, the other aspect of these sacred sites and traveling in a sacred way for me is also bringing love back to the earth and bringing our ability to send healing and care to our planet through these hotspots as well. So it's a twofold reason for me and why we travel on these sacred journeys, for enlightenment of ourselves, for bringing healing around the world and to the earth herself.
Lauren, how many of these hotspots were created by extraterrestrials?
That's a good question.
That's a $64,000 question.
Right? I can tell you of the ones that I've been to. I believe, and as we know from our Ancient Alien, backgrounds, this is all theory, but from what I have felt, I would say the majority of these hotspots, if not all of them, have some connection to the beyond, to the outer world, to the universe. I definitely know that, as I said, Nazca, Stonehenge, for me, had a very, I say, extraterrestrial feeling. I've been inside the Great Pyramid of Giza in the King's Chamber and have definitely felt some, powerful energy there. And one of the most fascinating places energetically for me is also Abydos, the temple to Osiris in Egypt. I also feel has a great source of ET energy about it as well. But I believe they all do in many ways. Some, to me, I hope this makes sense for folks out there, I think are very earth-based creation or very much created by our shamans, where they bring a lot of energy. So the vortices of Sedona, to me, have a very earth-based feeling, but also still connect outward, but maybe don't have as electric of an ET energy. And Mount Shasta is another place I have been to that definitely has some really fantastic, phenomenal out there energy as well.
Now, you're also a medium. How did that happen?
In terms of waking up to spirit, see, the one thing I would say is I would almost say a progressive medium, in the sense that I believe as mediums are evolving. So becoming a medium was something obviously born within me, but I believe it's also part of the ability that helps me sense and feel the different energies in these sacred sites. I use the word sacred sites because I believe that the energies also, while they may be extraterrestrial in nature, are still very sacred and should be honored and respected in terms of how they help us here. But the medium in me is where I am able to sense and feel. And the word medium, George, really is, you know, by definition in the dictionary, is a tool, not just a size. You know, like a paintbrush for the artist is a medium. And so as a medium, we step into being the in-between of the spirit, the universe, the other realms, and those here in the living. Part of my work as a spiritual medium is to specifically connect with departed loved ones, but I do know that my abilities have also helped me sense and feel in some of these sacred sites, some of the energies that protect these lands as well. So stepping into the tool in between whatever that is in the other realms to those that link here in the living.
And by touching the other side, by connecting with the other side, isn't there a danger, Lauren, of letting some kind of bad energy or entity through and they get over here?
Yeah, for me, George, no. I think it's all about how we want to perceive the world. Now, I won't lie and say that there certainly isn't dark, I don't want to even use the word darker energy, but deeper energies out there. But I always say the medium I was 20 years ago and who I am now, we've evolved into a different way of thinking, because as a young medium, I would have had a lot of fear of being, you know, harmed in a way energetically. But what I've really come to learn in my work as a medium is that those that love us in spirit are definitely here in a place of love and light, and the only protection we need is the understanding that if we walk in the space of the light, we will always be blessed with that, and we don't feel harmed by the negative. You know, it's our ability to be mentally healthy and to be aware. But when I've traveled around, I would definitely tell you I've certainly felt some places that may have been a bit deeper in their energy and would be something I wouldn't necessarily open myself up super loud to just not allow myself to connect deep to something I don't really agree or like in the energy.
Lauren Rainbow with us. We're going to take calls at the top of the hour with her as we talk about the mediumship, the psychic realm, intuitiveness, or if you want a general reading, what do you need from folks? Just a question, Lauren?
Absolutely, just so that we can help as many people as possible. If you can give me a specific an area of focus, so whether that be love, career, money, family, or a connection to a loved one in spirit, it will just help me dive right in.
All right, super. Have you ever met a medium you didn't like?
I've certainly come across some folks that I don't believe have been authentic in their work, George, for sure.
Now, how do you know that? How does somebody listening to this program, and I'm not saying it's you, but I mean, how do they cut through that and decide who's real, who isn't?
I think that when you're looking to connect with a medium or a psychic, to me, the truer, more authentic ones, we're not here to define you. Even when we do psychic readings tonight, I think it's important to know that when we look at your future, we're seeing your potential and that you have the power to still make changes and choices in your life. I would avoid those who maybe want to, I kind of say there's psychics out there who like to take control. So they may say to you, you have a curse, let me meditate for you, let me pray for you. They may charge you tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars to remove negative energies.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and it unfortunately exists out there. And to me, these are the ones that are inauthentic and are only looking to harm you. So Authentic mediums only want to support you. We all have to make money, to survive doing this work. So there would be charges, but you really want to avoid those who may tell you that you have a curse, that you're surrounded by negative energy, and that psychic has the power to remove that from you. And that comes back to, George, when you're asking me about, am I worried about having negative energy? I always say a curse is only as powerful as the power you want to give it. So it's really important that if you're out there seeking, to seek, and that goes back to spiritual navigation, seek with a healthy mind. Know that you're always in control and that you have the power to see your, change and focus your future, and really avoid those who want to take advantage of you.
If you were interviewing a medium for yourself, what are some of the questions you'd ask them?
I love that, and I've been doing interviews with mediums on my Instagram. I'm always curious to understand how each one of us has been inspired to step up and do this work. This is a calling. It's, to be a professional or to work in a way that is of service is absolutely a calling, and how we all got there is so unique. So I'm always intrigued and ask, what inspired you to step up to be of service? And I always believe that we evolve, and that part of our work as spiritual beings is constant evolution. As I said to you, who I was 20 years ago and who I am now, we're so different. So I always like to ask different psychics and mediums, how did they start, what did that look like, and how has it evolved and changed over the